This means those offences were of extreme gravity, even within the context of murder. Inevitably, given his age today, the appropriate term, if a finite term is set, will be of such a length as to lead the defendant spending most of the rest of his life in custody. Having considered all these matters, especially the outcome of the Counter-Terrorism Command's investigation into the defendant's prior mindset, and bearing in mind the power I have to impose a suitably severe minimum term, I am not persuaded that this is one of the rare and exceptional cases in which the element of just punishment and retribution can only be satisfied by the imposition of a whole life order on count 2, murder. Accordingly, I reach a provisional minimum term above that in paragraph 3 of Schedule 19 because this was a terrorist offence. It's also necessary to allow for a proportionate increase to take account of the attempted murder. Applying the Sentencing Council's attempted murder guideline, the offence in count 1, it is agreed, is one of category 2A seriousness, as Mr Nouri received life-threatening injuries, although due to the work of the emergency services, without long-term physical consequences. This is a Schedule 19 offence. The starting point is 30 years imprisonment within a range of 25 to 35 years. The aggravating and mitigating features have already been discussed. I agree with the prosecution that Mr Alid is a dangerous offender, and in all the circumstances, the conviction on attempted murder requires the imposition of imprisonment for life under Section 285 of the Sentencing Act 2020. The notional determinate sentence that would have been imposed on that count had the court not come to that conclusion is one of 30 years imprisonment. The sentence on count 1 must be a concurrent term of life imprisonment with a minimum term of 20 years minus the period spent on remand since his arrest, which is 213 days. This means the minimum term for that life sentence, if it was the only offence I had to sentence for, would be 19 years and 52 days. It should be understood by everyone that because of the sentence for murder, this period, which I have to state by law, does not actually affect the overall period to be served. Accordingly, I bear in mind both the concurrent term on count 1 and the terrorism aggravation in fixing a final just and proportionate term to be served for murder. In all the circumstances, before making the adjustment to allow for the period already served on remand, the minimum term on count 2 for murder is 45 years. Stand up, Ahmed Alid. On the 15th of October last year, you attacked and murdered Terence Carney in a terrorist act. You intended it as revenge for the actions of a foreign country, Israel, and to intimidate and influence the British government in its international relations. You hoped to frighten the people of Britain and to undermine the freedoms they enjoy. When you attempted to kill Javed Nouri, it was also intended to punish him for converting to Christianity, because that is not permitted by your Muslim faith, which brands him an apostate. For each of these offences, you are sentenced to life imprisonment. For attempted murder, the minimum term is 19 years, 52 days. This will be served concurrent to the sentence for murder. The minimum term for murder, of which you must serve every day, is 44 years and 52 days. After that time has passed, the parole board will be able to decide whether you can be released. It is possible that you will not be released even then. Given the sentences I've passed, there will be no separate penalty for the 2 charges of assaulting an emergency worker in the execution of her duty. Finally, I impose the statutory surcharge in the appropriate amount. Please take him down.